Calaroga Shark Media.
Wow, do you collect wine? A single bottle of a 1945 Conti, my French is not that good, Domaine de la Romanée-Conti, I'm sure I nailed that, just sold for $812,000 at auction, making it the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold. The previous record was only $558,000 back in 2018. What's so special about this particular 1945? Well, that vintage was the last produced before the vineyard was replanted, meaning the grapes came from vines that had survived 2 world wars and a century of Burgundy history. In wine circles, that's basically the Avengers of grapes. John has actually tasted the wine and said, "It is the greatest wine I've ever tasted." I would hope so at that price. Congratulations to a 19-year-old Mustang named Gringo. Gringo in the Guinness World Record after performing 38 tricks in 2 minutes, 47 seconds. Gringo ran through a routine that included dancing, kicking a ball, waving a flag, ringing a bell, and playing a keyboard with his nose. Now, what's interesting is Gringo was trained by using clicker training and positive reinforcement, techniques more commonly associated with dogs. The idea is simple: reward the behavior you want, and the horse actually wants to participate. Good news for an orangutan. In the jungles of North Sumatra, the orangutan used a canopy rope bridge to cross a road through the jungle. The moment was caught on a camera, and the people who had installed the bridge have been waiting for this moment. They were thrilled. Helen Buckland is the CEO of Sumatran Orangutan Society and said, "Waiting for this moment to happen for over 2 years has been excruciating. Now that it has, we're overjoyed." So here's the deal. In that area, there are about 350 wild orangutans trying to live their lives as a growing human population moves in around them. A road now cuts through the middle of their habitat, splitting the population in 2. That creates all kinds of problems. 1, orangutans getting hit by cars. And 2, orangutans are especially vulnerable to genetic problems when a population becomes too isolated. If the 2 halves of the group can't mix, you get a weaker gene pool. During the 2 years when they were waiting for the orangutan, all kinds of other animals figured it out. Squirrels, langurs, gibbons, they all started using them, but no orangutans. However, because orangutans are highly intelligent and very social, now that one has used the bridge, others are expected to follow. A man in Paris won a Pablo Picasso painting worth $1 million. He had bought a ticket for €100. Not bad. Ari found out about the charity raffle completely by chance. He was eating a meal at a restaurant. He bought a ticket. A few days later, organizers called him, said he won. The painting is called Head of a Woman, a portrait of Picasso's longtime muse and partner Dora, painted in 1941. The public market value is around €1.45 million. The gallery that owned it offered it a preferential price for the raffle. All 120,000 tickets were sold worldwide, raising €12 million. So that's a good return on a painting worth 1.45, right? And the money was raised for Alzheimer's research. The raffle was organized by the Alzheimer's Research Foundation, which is based out of one of Paris's leading public hospitals and has become France's leading private financier of Alzheimer-related medical research. This is actually the 3rd time the charity has raffled off a Picasso. Back in 2013, a guy who worked at a fire sprinkler business in Pennsylvania won a Cubist period oil painting. In 2020, an accountant in Italy won one. Her son had bought her a ticket as a Christmas present. And here's why your flight was delayed. You're not going to believe this one. A Southwest Airlines flight out of Oakland was delayed because of a passenger. The passenger was a robot. The robot's human companion boarded the plane with his 4-foot-tall, 70-pound robot named Bebop. Bebop had a ticket, a real ticket. A seat was purchased for Bebop the robot. The first problem was the airline staff said Bebop can't sit in an aisle seat. Okay, fine. So they moved Bebop to the window seat. Then problem number 2, staff started asking about the battery. Turned out Bebop's lithium battery was larger than what Southwest allows as carry-on items, so the battery had to be removed and confiscated before the plane could depart. The flight left 1 hour and 2 minutes late. How annoyed would you be? And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Have a good one.